Welcome to Fireside Chat. My name is Sai. I'm creating a 4-part video series about how to get started on your financial independence journey in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. So let's talk about the 20s and how to strategize your savings and investment to achieve financial independence. If you're in your 20s and watching this video, congratulations because you're already way ahead of the game. I started my FIRE journey when I was 29, and I really wish that I had started when I was 20. In your 20s, you have more room to fail because time is on your side. You might not be able to take as many risks when you're in your 40s or 50s. So let's take a look at this FIRE calculator, and you can download this checklist and other FIRE resources for free on firesidechat.com/contact. Let's say you're 25 years old and your goal is to retire in 30 years when you turn 55. Then you'll have 30 years to achieve financial independence. If you want to achieve Fat FIRE and make $100,000 a year in passive income when you retire early, then you'll need to invest at least $1,800 a month. And that's assuming you make 8% in average annual return and you don't have any other income sources like pension from work. The only variable here is the stock market return because we can't predict future performances. Some years you could have 30% return, and some years you could be in the negative cash flow. If you don't think you'll need that much money in early retirement, then maybe reduce your annual expenses to $70,000. You would need to invest at least $1,300 a month to get to $1.75 million in 30 years. You can shorten the years and say you want to retire by 40. Obviously, you would need higher income and lower expenses to invest $3,100 a month to achieve financial independence. Just keep in mind that these numbers are not definitive. They're just guidelines for starting your FIRE journey, but it is a good starting point. Most people don't take their finances seriously until they make a significant financial mistake, like realizing their minimum debt repayments are becoming harder to pay each month. You could also be starting a family in your 20s, and that's when you start thinking about building your generational wealth, like investing and leaving a legacy for your children. You might be someone who just graduated from college and started a career somewhere, or just starting a business. Here are some financial skills you want to master to kickstart your financial independence journey. First is to create your own budget with a spreadsheet or on a piece of paper. Chances are you 20-year-olds are pretty good with computers, so I'm going to say you'll probably use a computer to create a budget. I don't want you to rely on budget apps or programs like Mint. I want you to create your own systems. You have the power to decide how you want to spend and save money. Your income is likely lower than 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds because you're just starting out in your career. There are so many budget strategies you can find online, like the 80-20 budget or the 50-30-20 budget strategies. What most FIRE people do is to save at least 50% of their income, or the 50-50 budget strategy. But it's completely okay if you can't save 50% of your income yet. Even if you're only saving 10% of your income, is a great start, but probably not enough to retire early. Second is to create your own savings and investment portfolio. I'm not talking about investing in a mutual fund or stocks just yet. I'm talking about your saving and investing strategy for your budget. I teach my clients to automate their savings so they can budget after they have already invested their money. This is also called a pay yourself first budget strategy. You can create your own pie chart and say you have your employer sponsored retirement plan, Roth IRA, HSA, emergency fund, and your additional sinking funds. If you don't know what a sinking fund is, it's like separate savings account for something you're going to purchase in the future. So the first step is to make sure you're putting money into your employer sponsored retirement plan, like the TSP, 401k, 457, or 403b up to the employer match. Let's say you put 5% of your paycheck into it because your employer matches your 5%. The second step is to understand how the IRA works in your advantage. If you can put all $6,000 into your Roth IRA, then that's even better. The key here is to follow your investment plan for the year 2022. You might not have the same job or the same budget in 2023, so keep that in mind. You can always follow my FIRE checklist and download it from our website. At the same time, this is where you need to start learning about compound interest and macroeconomics if you're serious about investing in the stock market. The questions you should be asking are, what is the S&P 500? What drives the stock market? What is the difference between a mutual fund and an ETF? How many sectors are there to invest? You notice that I didn't mention anything about individual stocks, right? That's because you need to have a solid understanding of the overall economy and the stock market before you get into the individual stocks. Third is to understand debt. You have to shift your mindset about credit cards and student loans. In your 20s, you're probably a college student or a recent college graduate. If you got through school without any student loans, then that's awesome. If you have a student loan, you need to understand the ROI for the degree you study for. How much money are you going to make with a nursing degree? What is your income goal with an engineering degree? What sectors do you want to work as a computer science engineer or a project manager that can pay you back the student loan you borrow in a few years? Basically, you leverage your career to help pay for your college. So you need to start thinking about paying off your student loan as soon as possible. Something else you should avoid is having a car loan, because that's what's slowing down many Americans with saving and investing. Many cars will depreciate over time, so it's considered bad debt. What's considered good debt would be something that appreciates over the years, like borrowing money to pay for your first home. I learned about leveraging debt and the differences between good debt and bad debt when someone gifted me a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, authored by Robert Kiyosaki. I read this book over and over again when I first started my FIRE journey. I will link this book in the description below. You also need to learn to avoid impulse shopping and have a plan for every dollar you're going to spend. You want to avoid having unexpected purchases as much as possible. You want to have a plan for your irregular expenses as well. If you know you're going to pay, let's say $200 in car registration fee during the month of August, then you should create a separate savings account or spending account dedicated to those irregular purchases. I have a video dedicated to this, and large annual expenses are something many people forget to budget throughout the year. While many people on the FIRE journey would tell you to live frugally, I would tell you to set some money aside to have fun in your 20s, but responsibly. You should never leave a balance on your credit card to backpack to Europe or go on a cruise. I teach my clients to create a sinking fund for travel or entertainment that will require thousands of dollars in flight or maybe hotel purchases. If you set aside as little as $50 every 2 weeks, you'll have $1,300 in a year. If you set aside $100, then you'll have $2,600 in a year. It's simple calculation, simple math. Lastly, I want you to surround yourself with like-minded or successful people and say goodbye to the people with negative thoughts who just want to bring you down right along with them. When you start surrounding yourself with successful people, you're going to build your knowledge and confidence in your abilities to achieve financial independence. Finding successful people isn't always easy, but they can be great contributors to your success. So with that said, I appreciate you watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.